Imagine this. It's 1965. You're on a tiny island at the tip of Asia, barely bigger than a city, and suddenly you're not part of any country. Singapore has just been expelled from Malaysia. No warning, no plan, just a cold. You are on your own. The world is watching, and most expect you to fail. The cameras catch a 41-year-old man, Lee Kuan Yew, breaking down on live TV. Not because he's lost power, but because he's sure his country might not survive. He weeps openly, saying, "My whole life, I have believed in merger and unity of the two territories. You know, it's a people connected by ties of blood, kinship, and history." At that time, Singapore had nothing. No natural resources. The land was mostly swamps and jungle, with little arable soil. No clean water, no jobs, slums everywhere. Most people lived in overcrowded, unsanitary conditions, with families sharing single rooms and collecting water from communal taps. No army to defend itself, no unified identity. The population was a patchwork of Chinese, Malay, Indian, and Eurasian communities, often divided by language, religion, and suspicion. Foreign diplomats called it a political orphan. The United Nations debated whether Singapore could even survive as a nation. British officers literally called it a swamp with skyscraper dreams. They doubted Singapore could ever be more than a colonial outpost or a trading port, but Lee Kuan Yew? He turned humiliation into his fuel. He said, "We will survive. We will make this place a shining jewel of the East." The first step? Uniting everyone, Chinese, Malay, Indian, Eurasian, into one nation. He launched massive campaigns for racial harmony, even walking the streets himself to calm tensions after race riots. His answer, English. Not to erase anyone's heritage, but to give every community a common ground, and plug Singapore right into global business. That single move? It changed everything. Schools switched to English, but mother tongues were preserved, so no one lost their roots. Next, crush corruption. Not just talk about it, but take it out at the root. Lee Kuan Yew set up the Corrupt Practices Investigation Bureau, giving it real teeth and independence. Lee Kuan Yew jailed even his own allies if they got greedy. Ministers, civil servants, and even friends were not spared. He famously said, "If you want to fight corruption, be prepared to send your friends and relatives to jail." He rebuilt public systems from scratch. The government became known for meritocracy, hiring the best, regardless of background. Civil servants were paid well to reduce temptation, and strict rules were enforced. But Singapore's transformation wasn't just about big policies. It was about discipline, enforced at every level. The government introduced some of the world's strictest rules on cleanliness and order. Littering? That's an instant fine. Spitting, jaywalking, or not flushing a public toilet? Fines, too. Mandatory cleanliness campaigns saw students and citizens scrubbing their neighborhoods, and public spaces were kept spotless by law. These rules weren't just for show. They shaped a culture where everyone, from school children to CEOs, took pride in their city's order and hygiene. The result? A city so clean and disciplined, it became a global benchmark. Today, Singapore is one of the least corrupt places on Earth. It regularly tops global rankings for transparency and efficiency. Then, homes. In the 1960s, most people lived in slums, but in just one generation, the Housing Development Board replaced those with safe, modern apartments. The HDB was created in 1960, and by 1985, over 80% of Singaporeans lived in public housing. Singapore went from squatter settlements to some of the world's highest home ownership rates. That's Harvard case study material. The Home Ownership for the People scheme gave citizens a real stake in the country's future. And with no resources to sell, Singapore built trust instead. By being brutally efficient, clean, and honest, the world came knocking. Oil, tech, banks, you name it. The government courted foreign investment, built world-class infrastructure, and made Singapore a hub for shipping and finance. One generation. That's all it took for Singapore to go from a slum to a city that rivals Tokyo. The skyline rose, the streets became spotless, and the economy boomed. From a swamp to the world's best airport. Changi Airport opened in 1981 and has won World's Best Airport more than 10 times, symbolizing Singapore's global ambitions. From a political orphan to a global powerhouse. Singapore now hosts major summits, mediates international disputes, and punches far above its weight in global affairs. Singapore's story proves the future isn't about what you're given, but what you do with it. Lee Kuan Yew's leadership was sometimes tough, even controversial, but he believed in discipline, pragmatism, and long-term vision. In a world full of excuses, Singapore is living proof that vision, discipline, and unity can change everything. From water rationing to becoming a global water technology leader, from riots to racial harmony, from poverty to prosperity, Singapore's transformation is a lesson for the world. If you enjoyed this, hit like and subscribe for more stories from curious minds.